In terms of Black Friday, there is now an emerging trend of a conundrum that a lot of brands are finding. Because previously, Black Friday was a great way to be able to generate turnover, and it was the start of um, the preparation for Christmas. So wallets would be opened and people would be buying, and there was genuine desire to just buy stuff. It was not targeted. It was not really anything more than just a real need for people to be involved and participate in it and buying heaps of things on the perception that they were getting a discount. Lots of brands created lines for Black Friday to be able to avoid heavy discounting and their more traditional things and maintain their margins. And it also enabled them to be able to have sufficient stock to be able to work through. And if it didn't sell through, it was maybe at lower quality or not the same level as their store sort of stuff. Now, what's happening is the expectations of customers in Black Friday has materially changed. The expectation is now they will get genuine discount on a genuine product that there is desire for. So going back to the relevance is they desire or want it on the basis of a discount that they perceive is a special thing for Black Friday. That creates a challenge because how do you actually make sure your stock is right for that and ensure that you have enough of it, but so it's scarce enough to create the value and the wallet opening, but there's volume enough to be able to create a real impact on your bottom line. Because a lot of businesses are finding that Black Friday now starts the discount period all the way through to Christmas. So they don't get back to full margin until the following year. And that means is that if you can't get enough volume through and you can't get enough sales in Black Friday, it can be a really challenging time because you've invested money to get stock ready for a volume play in Black Friday. But if it doesn't work because you can't quite get the right product or the pricing slightly off, or there's somebody else who's challenged you, that makes it really, really difficult for some businesses. And that's why it creates a conundrum. Do you invest in stock that you think will sell, or do you hold and just put a smaller investment in on the basis that you're uncertain, and then you can work through your stock in the way through Christmas? The other thing that's happened because of Black Friday is that it's really become a global position. Everybody can buy from everybody across the world. Who would have thought that some challenging people in Sydney can buy on Pret-a-Porter and have it delivered in a week compared to 20 years ago where they were destination places that you would go when you travel overseas. So now with this global network and being able to buy things in the US, in the UK, or let's not talk about too much Trump tariffs, and that will be a challenge in this Black Friday this year and unique. But overall, it's a global positioning. So local brands really have to be ready to be able to challenge these overseas brands to again stay relevant in that marketplace and also build up their stock at the right level and the right price and get that precision right to be able to make the most of it and drive their working capital through Black Friday and then into the sale roll that happens with Christmas. And that's another factor is margins now become increasingly important for Black Friday and then the next 3 months after that into Christmas. Because although it may be a good volume period, if you're not making enough margin or sufficient margin on it, you can actually create a problem for yourself. And on top of that, you can also create a problem because you might be overstocked. So it really does create this conundrum scenario where you've got to almost have a bit of a bet that you are going to get it right, and that will generate the outcome that you need. If you don't get it right, it creates real uncertainty about the next year, and it'll create lockup of working capital because you'll have more stock than what you need. And then you've got to work out how you use that stock or sell it down or dispose of it in different markets. One of the things that I've seen people been doing is looking at stock that they can produce under license into areas where their business might not normally operate, might be in Europe or America, and being able to sell that down with minimal risk because you're outsourcing it and licensing it out. So there's another stream of revenue that you can get, and also potentially using some of that overstock that you might generate to pump through those things rather than damaging your local brand and keeping that desire and relevance and scarcity issue under control. But it's really, this conundrum is going to be an issue going forward as tastes change and people become more and more used to buying things from global providers. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the Chinese providers start even selling more direct, even though we already have those sort of brokerage aspects down here, like Temu and things like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually come even further direct and start being able to sell direct to me, uh, and find out all of my details, particularly with all of the ability of AI to be able to identify. And we all know that some miraculous things that we're standing next to the phone, we might mention that we're interested in buying something, and 5 minutes later it pops up as an ad on your feeds or whatever else. So all of these things are going to continue. Everybody needs to be adaptable, and you need to commit to what you're going to do at Black Friday and beyond that. All of that leads to the fact is you need to understand how relevant you are for your customer, and you need to really understand your end user so that you can bring something that will give them value and will give you certainty that they will be interested in buying it. It's hard, but retail, that is the challenge.